Hey, it's Minimalist Gourmet, and today I'm going to show you how to make mashed potato french fries. This recipe is the perfect balance between that nice, soft, fluffy interior and that nice, crispy, golden brown exterior. These things are always flying off the plate when I make them for my family, and I know you're going to have the same results. These things are a fantastic way to elevate the humble potato up to an award winning side dish. Let me show you how. Let's get crack-a-lackin'. Okay, for this recipe, you need 1 pound of potatoes, which is about 3 medium largish sized potatoes, and of course, we need to peel and cut them into cubes. Nice. Fill your pot with enough water to cover your potatoes by about a half an inch, and this is optional, but I like to add a chicken bouillon cube into my water. It helps season the potatoes as well as adding a little bit of salt. Make sure to break up that bouillon cube really well, turn the heat on high, and start bringing your potatoes up to a boil. When you cut potatoes into cubes, does that make them a square root? Once the potatoes come up to a boil, you can drop the heat a little bit, but definitely keep it at a good simmer. You want to let these boil for a good solid 15, maybe 20 minutes until they're soft enough that a tip of a knife or a fork goes in super easy. After your potatoes are nice and soft, go ahead and drain off all the water and then transfer your cooked potatoes into a large mixing bowl. And while your potatoes are still steaming hot right off of the range, you want to go ahead and add in your chopped garlic. The residual heat from the potatoes is going to be more than enough to soften up this garlic and make it a little bit more mild. Go ahead and toss it around so it's evenly distributed, and we're going to let this sit on the counter for about 40 minutes or until it's down to room temperature completely. After about 45 minutes, my potatoes were cool, so I'm going to go ahead and add in my seasonings. I'm keeping it very straightforward today and just doing a bit of salt and pepper. Next, we need to mash these completely. You definitely do not want a chunky mashed potato. You want to make this as smooth as possible. So if you have a ricer, that'd be even better, but this will do just fine. I encourage you guys to modify this recipe to suit your own tastes. If you want to add something like paprika, cayenne, cumin, curry powder, anything like that, go ahead. Remember, when you cook at home, you can make it exactly as you like it. We're going to put our cheese in next. I'm using some cheddar cheese, which is great. You can also use some like gruyere or provolone, but you do want something that melts really well. If you're using Parmesan, watch out. There's a lot of salt in that. You don't want to overpower the dish. Finally, some cornstarch goes in to bind everything together. I'm going to start with half a cup, but we may need to add a little bit more later. Now we need to mix everything together and form our dough. I like to start off with a wooden spoon until this really starts to form a dough, and then I like to switch over to my hands for two reasons. One, I think it's a little bit easier, and two, it gives you an opportunity to feel how moist the potatoes are and whether or not you need to add more cornstarch. Just work it with your hands like you would any other dough until it comes together completely. Now, as you can see here, it's sticking to my hands a little bit and it's not really forming a nice cohesive ball. It's a little shaggy. So I'm going to go ahead and add another quarter cup of cornstarch to this to dry it out a little bit and help everything bind together better. I added the extra cornstarch off camera and worked the dough a bit more. And as you can see here, it's come together nicely. Additionally, if you'd like to take out some extra insurance to make sure these don't fall apart when you fry them, you can add one beaten egg to the batter here and mix it in very well. Once your dough is all mixed up and ready to go, we need to grab ourselves one of these gallon Ziploc bags. We're going to load our dough into here so we can make a nice flat sheet. Go ahead and load up your dough ball into the bag, and we're going to start flattening it out. I like to use my hands to start with. I think it's a little easier to kind of get it down into the corners and just kind of get a rough outline here before I move on to my rolling pin. And by rolling pin, I mean my empty wine bottle because I'm too cheap to buy a rolling pin. And hey, this came with wine in it that I got to drink. While I'm rolling these out, maybe you could roll down and give this video a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Not only will it make you feel good doing it, but it's going to really help my channel grow. I really appreciate it. And while you're down there, definitely don't forget to check out the description. As always, I include a written recipe for every one of my videos. Keep working your dough until it's about a ½ inch thick. It should stop about 1 inch down from the zipper end right here. This top edge likes to get a little thin, so I go ahead and push that back just to make sure that all the potato is the same thickness. Go ahead and seal the bag, and if everything went well, your potatoes should look like this, a nice ½ inch thick all the way throughout. Go ahead and put this onto a tray so it stays flat, and then we're going to put it in the freezer for 30 minutes. You do not want to freeze this solid, you just want it to be partially frozen, so don't go too long. After chilling in my freezer for 30 minutes, we're going to pull our dough out, and we need to get it out of the bag. The easiest way that I found to do this is to just run your knife down both sides and then peel back the top. It gives very easy access. Next, we need to cut our dough into batons so we can fry them. I like to go with a ½ inch wide because we made the dough a ½ inch thick. That way everything's nice and square and everything will cook evenly and finish at the same time. Because we only partially froze our dough, this really shouldn't take a lot of pressure. It's about the same as cutting through some ice cream. Next, I turn my knife 90 degrees and cut my batons into thirds. This is just so much easier to work with. You can technically fry the batons as they are in their full length, but they're really unwieldy and they're very difficult to deal with, so you're basically asking for them to break apart. I've preheated my oil, and you do want to go a little hotter than normal. You want to go somewhere around 375, maybe even 390. These are going to fry a little bit less time at a little hotter temperature. If your oil is too cold, they're going to break apart. These are going to fry for about 5 to 7 minutes until they're golden brown and delicious. You do need to flip them about halfway through cooking, but do take note, these do like to stick to the bottom of the pot a little bit, so take your time to free them. Maybe even slip a spatula underneath, that way you separate them from the pan, otherwise when you go to flip them, they're going to tear in half. By the way, do you guys know that French fries love watching sports? Oh yeah, they're great at being a spectator. Once your mashed potato fries have reached the level of golden brown and delicious that you're looking for, you can go ahead and pull them off. Just go ahead and put them on a paper towel so they can wick away any of that extra oil, and you're going to want to eat these immediately. All right, guys, we've reached my favorite part of the video. Of course, I got to eat what I just made. I'm super excited about this. My kitchen smells fantastic, and these look like they turned out perfectly. We can hear, oh yeah, nice and crunchy exterior. These things are going to be fantastic. We have that beautiful, crispy, golden exterior with that nice, light, fluffy interior. Let's go ahead and give it a taste and see how we did. Take a listen to this. Mmm, mmm. So that exterior is beautiful. It's nice, golden, crunchy, crispy, light. The interior is super fluffy, nice and pillowy, like a good mashed potato. I have to be honest with you. These things taste almost like a perfected version of an Arby's curly fry. So if you've ever had one of those, imagine the best version of that, and that's what these taste like. Super light and crispy, nice and pillowy soft on the inside. The cheese is a nice addition. It has just a light cheddar flavor, and of course, it's perfectly seasoned throughout. Man, these are fantastic, and what a great way to elevate just a humble French fry into something special. I absolutely know you guys are going to love these at home. Definitely give them a try. Let me know how it goes in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all here next time on the next episode of Minimalist Gourmet.